not yet. Hello, future bestsellers. I start a little, jump the gun a little bit. But that's okay. We are so happy to see you all today. I'm Lisa Daly, and with me, as always, are the fabulous and talented Michelle Schusterman and story detective Robert Jones. And I'm super excited today. You guys know I finished my book last week. I'm working on formatting, I'm working on the class, I'm working on the workbook. Yeah, like the whole thing's kind of starting to come together, and I'm super, super excited about it.
That's
Super.
awesome.
And you know what's crazy? So I wrote this book because, as you guys know, I'm a book coach for a lot of 6 and 7 figure authors who want to write nonfiction books. And um and so I've been doing that for several years, and which I absolutely love it. But I wrote this book trying to like cover every single thing that I had sort of learned and taught to them over the years. And what I realized was that it has helped me sort of crystallize my process so much more. So now, like when I have clients say, "Oh, what do you think I should do about this?" I'm like, "Oh, I wrote about this." Like I have already thought out, because I was trying to be so comprehensive. I like thought about every possible question. And so I'm feeling like, all right, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. So what are you going to be working on today, Michelle?
Well, I have a school visit today. So, for the first sprint, the short one, I'm going to be looking at the questions that the students sent me. And then for the second one, I'm going to hop out of the live stream and go do it because it's a virtual visit. And then after that, I'm going to be working on my thriller.
Yay. That sounds like super fun. Robert, how about you? What are you going to be working on today?
I am going to be editing my novel, and with any luck, I'll be this close or maybe right at the midpoint by the time this stream is over.
Yay! I love that kind of progress. What are you guys working on in the chat today? Let us know. Before we get started with our 5-minute warm up sprint, let's do some introductions. I'm going to start with you today, Robert. Tell us a little about you and your awesome channel.
Well, my channel is The Story Detective, where I take various forms of storytelling, both visual and through writing, from my time at Marvel and other storytelling things, and put it under a Sherlockian microscope and break down that craft to make it easier for the viewer to understand and hopefully progress your journey. New
Excellent.
videos coming hopefully by April. I have various things planned. I also have a client project in April, so it's going to be touchy, but I'll do my best.
We are keeping our fingers crossed, Robert. Michelle Schusterman, as always, so delightful to have you. Tell us a little about you and your awesome channel.
All right. I am a middle grade and young adult author, and my channel is writing vlogs, traditional publishing chat, and writing workshops.
Love it. I'm Lisa Daly, and I'm a hybrid author, formerly traditionally published, now indie published. And although I don't, who knows, I'll probably at some point I might go back, but it's hard to give up the money. I'll tell you that. After you go indie, it's a lot harder to give up the money. Speaking of which, I'm guessing that you touch on that particular issue, traditional publishing and money, in the video that you just posted this week, which I am going to link to in the chat. I have not seen it yet. I've been intrigued by the thumbnail all week and normally I would watch, but I'm like on such a tight deadline trying to get this book project and all of its extra stuff done. So I haven't seen it yet, but I'm very excited too. So if you guys in the chat have seen Michelle's new video, which I think is called like Dear Publishing or something. Is it something?
The thumbnail says hi publishers.
Yeah. So I think you guys are all going to want to check that out if you have not already. I know I certainly do.
I've seen it. The last couple of rants were very intriguing. They made me rant a little.
Very much.
Speaking of ranting, so the Horror Geek sent me something yesterday, which was a tweet from a guy who was the subject of a pylon on Twitter because he had looked at someone else's bookshelf picture at someone's shelfie and said, "I'm an English lit major and your shelf of you're not a reader, your shelf is just filled with porn," because it was mostly romance novels.
Oh boy.
And of course there was a giant pylon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have to say, rightfully so. Like the fact that you're in it, and the sad thing is that the guy in his Twitter bio had said he wanted to be a writer, and I'm like, what are you doing, buddy? You don't want to like insult this mass, like the biggest, segment of publishing for sure, but there are a lot of people who love romance novels and take the idea that they are just porn for ladies, for sad housewives, really offensively, myself included, for sure.
Read literary fiction and read literary fiction, surely you understand that that's all about human emotion, and romance is a really important part of being a human for most humans. Like, it's
right.
part of, I don't know.
Love, romance, sex, these are all big moments in our lives. And the idea that sort of emotional exploration is less important than other types of exploration could get me ranting all day. The Horror Geek was like, oh, I'm going to show, he told me about it. And I'm like, send it to you. He goes, no, I'm not going to send it to you. He's like, you have work to do today. I'm not going to let you go down this rabbit hole. And I said, I promise I won't post. Just send it to me. So I did it. I did not respond. I just looked at it. But yeah, it was quite the pile-on. So let's say hi. What was that, Robert?
There's a lot of things that started decades ago that just transfer over to either modern publishing or even self-publishing that makes absolutely no sense. I don't even think some people know why they're doing it.
I think that's true. Well, I think that's true. And it's, hi, Rosa. It's insulting. It's insulting. People like different types of books, and there are certainly genres that I don't care for but I wouldn't disparage the readers of those genres just because they're not for me. And I will say a really good example of that was horror. When I first met the Horror Geek, I was horror avoidant and not interested at all. And, had certainly seen like a couple of things where I'm like, oh, that's sort of clever. Like I'd, seen Scream and things like that. But he curated these horror films that he loved. And I found value in the genre that I did not even know was there, that if I had not been like open to that and had just dismissed it like, oh, it's just crap for idiots, then I would have missed out on some really cool things. And I actually really like horror now, which is kind of, I still don't read it in books much. Although his obviously, but yeah. So you'd hate to like miss out on something great because you're too obnoxious to give it a chance, or you feel the need to disparage readers of genres you don't enjoy. It's just like,
okay, it's not for you. You don't have to crap on everybody.
Right. And I will say, if you want to be a writer, the people who are making money in this industry are often romance writers, and we can all learn from their success. So I will say that. All right. My space heater has gone too much. Hold on. I have like a 2-degree comfort zone. So I literally have like 80 sweaters in my office and a blanket and a space heater, which I take off and on all day long. All right, let's say hi to our friends in the chat. Oop, Devin's here today. Hello, Devin. Super glad to see you today. Lainey's here today. The lightning finally let up in Pittsburgh and I have internet. Yay. So glad about that. Daisy's here. Hello, Daisy. Super glad to see you guys today. Sisters, authors, friends in Canada, aka Ellen is here. Home for a snow day. Oh my gosh. When I was a kid, I grew up in Denver, and you just prayed for snow days every day, all winter long. I have such good those two words to me just mean hot chocolate, wearing yourself out, digging a tunnel or a snow fort in the backyard, or right?
Yeah.
And as I do not care for cold weather, but I have so many good memories of snow days. And in particular, there was one year where we had our next door neighbor lived like down a little bit down the hill from our house. And we built a snow fort like in our yard with a tunnel that went to another snow fort in their yard. And it was just like, we spent all of it, like the whole neighborhood. We spent like the entire day constructing the thing. It was just like the best day ever. So fun fact, it's actually warm inside a snow fort. Lissandra's here. Hello, we're super glad to see you. Miss Texas is here. All right, so Lissandra's working on draft 3 of the fake dating romance. Oh my god, it goes to my beta reader on Saturday.
Nice.
I love fake dating. Love it, love it, love it. Ellen's working on Side Hustle, creating various types of planners for author. Not trying to sell here, just saying what I'm working on.
That's cool.
That is cool. Very good. You guys know I'm a big fan of the planner. I'm like planner obsessed. So bring it on. Ellen, do you know what is her name? She has a little Etsy shop. Oh, hold on. You're like, everyone's like, oh yes, we'll wait here while you dig through a drawer. No problem. Procrastiplanner. She makes these little author stickers for your planners, and she has like HB90 sets if you're doing Sarah Cannon stuff, or just sort of general, like, going on a book or doing a book launch or going on a tour or whatever. She's got all these great like sticker sets. I love her stuff, and she is also an author. So if you are looking for author stickers, I highly recommend Procrastiplanner over on Etsy. RC is here. We are super glad you see here. Ellen, love your video. Love your video.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mary's here. Hello, Mary. Just for first time. Oh, I know, right? The daytime. Yes. Victoria's here. So glad to see you today. There you go. Very nice. RC says erotica is for those who go too far out of their way to convince everyone, including themselves, that they're too classy for porn. Oh, RC. What are we going to do about you? You're hilarious. Avi says, I'm so addicted to your author on the road shorts, Michelle, that dog-friendly beach in Coronado. Oh, my gosh. Are you guys in California?
Yeah, San Diego area.
Get out. No, okay. So I lived in San Diego. My favorite hotel in the whole universe is the Hotel Del. Right there on Coronado. It looks like a giant sand castle.
Just, oh my God.
Yeah, it's beautiful. They have a turret room, which is a round room like a princess would have. And it has views of the Pacific Ocean and the bay. And it's like water everywhere around. I love Coronado, though. That's great. I didn't realize they had a dog-friendly beach, although it makes sense.
It's at the very end of the beach, right next to the naval base.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like helicopters and planes that are like landing over the dog area, which is kind of cool.
That is where they do the Navy SEAL training. And so you probably saw, while you're at the dog beach, lots and lots of aspiring Navy SEALs carrying boats on their heads, running up and down the beach until they die. So, yeah. Like it's a lot, but it's right there. Cynthia's here. Hello. So glad to see you today. Avi. Yep. Her topics are absolutely great. Mary says, my big tough Deputy Dave likes his women fiction and often recommends his favorite romance authors to fellow fans of book reads. Yeah. So you know what's great, right? So Dave Putnam, mystery author, is a former police officer. Big guy. What is he, like 6'5" or something? Like he's huge and he looks like a cop. And he is like a super heavy reader over on Goodreads, and he reviews everything. And I would like to just say thank you today for that, because we really appreciate it. Yeah, well, it was temporary and I was a child. but the second I was able to, I moved to, and I was born in California. Like a lot of my family's from California. So I really am a warm weather girl all the way through. But yes, I had several frozen years in Colorado. Cool Gamer is here, but I also can barely imagine myself. So I feel you. RC is writing a story about planner people they're not going to let. You're a little bit evil. We love you, but you're a little bit evil. Romance might have on spicy scenes, some even lead up and use your imagination. Erotica fiction is every other chapter. It seems to me it's a big difference. Yeah. So there are lots and lots of flavors or heat levels in romance for sure. Hotel Del does ice skating on the beach during the winter. Is that true? I had no idea. It's haunted. I know that. All right. So
Cool.
I know, right? You're like, what? Okay, guys. So let's go ahead and get started with our first 5-minute sprint. Let me get that beach timer up. Yay. I want to know what you guys are all working on. If you have not already told us, let us know in the chat. And let's get started with our warm up sprint in 3, 2, 1. All right, fantastic. So we have lots and lots of comments. Let us know what you guys are working on today. Cynthia said horroromancy. That's us, Mike and I are horror romantics. I always thought that was kind of funny. Do you guys remember on Instagram? I think it was like a year ago, where people were, and maybe you don't know this because it was very much in author, like in romance author world, but people were doing like, have you seen Instagram where they'll do like a little explanation of like the tropes in a book? So people were doing that with their real life relationships, where they would talk about all the tropes, like he fell first, or workplace romance, or that kind of thing, except with their real partner, and it was super, super cute. Yeah. So I think Mike and I sound like we could definitely be a meet cute, a horror guy, a romance girl. Yeah. So I mean, we are meet cute. We're living meet cute right now. Okay. All right. Oh, we got 2 more minutes. Okay. My whole big plan here was that we are going to go right into our 20-minute sprint today so we could get Michelle in and out. So we are going to do this. We're going to jump right into our first 20-minute sprint. And when we come back, we are going to talk about some questions, say hi, find out what you guys are working on, blah, 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 all that stuff. So let me pull up our 20-minute sprint. Oh, which started without us, by the way. Hold on there, crazy little timer. What do you think you're up to? Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get started on our very first 20-minute sprint. You guys stretch out your little fingers, get your brain right, and we are going to have a super productive writing day today. I can feel it in my bones. All right. You are? All right, here we go. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and get started with our very first sprint in 3, 2, 1. Let's cha-cha. Muted. That went by so fast today. Oh my gosh, it went by really, really fast.
It did. I just paused to look at the time and saw that it ended.
I know. I just heard the sound. Otherwise, I would not have known. So Michelle is still doing her excuse me, she's still doing her school visit. So she thought she was going to be able to stay on and do them simultaneously, but she said she had to leave and rejoin because she couldn't mute the
Mm.
ocean sounds. So sorry about that. Let's see. Let's see where we are. So Mary is what is everybody working on today? You said you're working on your book. I'm actually working on my class based on my book, which is kind of exciting. Mary is working on Tricked, aka the Hooker book, which is so good. I can also pat my head and rub my tummy at the same time. Very nice. Devin was agreeing with RC. Okay, got it. Gotcha. Abby's working on some brainstorming today. My writing drought is over. Yay! Yay! Oh, I love this. If Gossip Girl were anime. Ooh, I love that. Love that. Love that. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Avi's working with Scrivener again. It's been keeping me organized with the corkboard. I mean, you guys know I have like a giant whiteboard. I started with the corkboard. That was actually the reason why I bought Scrivener in the first place. And then I moved over to Notion. And now here I am back there. Hello, Diane. So glad to see you today. Victoria's working on finishing up edits and a personal essay for class. Very nice. Very nice. Avi says, get my shit together. Thank you for this. I had not heard of that acronym, but I love it. I'm about to adopt it permanently. Love that. Love that. BC is working on Delphian, which is a sequel of her urban fantasy series with Sako, Flambeau, which I remember from back in the day while I run errands. Doc waiting rooms, excellent places to write. Yes, that's absolutely the truth. Love that. Devin's doing first person POV, looking to see how far I can make it before getting frustrated and turning into third person. That's so funny. I think every fiction writer, I think, has a POV that is easier for them. I did a client assignment yesterday that was third person. And I really have to, it requires more effort on my part to write in third person. I don't know why.
For me too.
Yeah.
When I first started reading, I was doing a mystery in first person, and I switched to third. And by the time I started talking to Saul Stein about first person, which was his favorite point of view, and he gave all the reasons of why it was more intimate when I switched back to it and started following his principles, I kind of never looked back, or rarely looked back to third person.
Yeah. I mean, I love first. It's definitely my go-to for sure. It's good to stretch yourself a little bit and write in a different POV, just to learn something new. But yes, I feel that. And also, there's nothing worse than changing the POV halfway through the book.
Yeah.
Because you never catch them all. You never catch all those pronouns, and there's going to be one when the book is published. There will be one that you and 87 other editors and readers missed. Let's see. Ooh, that's interesting. So BC and another work in progress. I'm combining first person POV with third person limited, which is great, which is when they're limited to their own sort of knowledge and not omniscient. And I love it. I love it. All right. Fantastic. Very nice. It can be tougher. I know for me, it's easier. Third person is the one that's tougher, but yes, I feel, I think anytime we go outside our comfort zone, it can be a little more challenging.
I'm kind of playing around for the first time with different tenses. I have a past tense and a present tense. Since it's a mystery, when we get this one person's story, it's like a two-part thing, one at the beginning and one at the end. And I'm making that more of a present tense as opposed to the rest of it that's written in a past tense.
Interesting. Well, I can see that with a mystery, and in particular, a historical mystery. I can see that. Yeah. I noticed that I look a little bit like a ghost on camera today. And I think, which the horror geek often comments on, I think it's because I have both my windows open. I'm getting a ton of reflection. So I'm going to try and resolve that when we have our next sprint. It did occur to me though that I have my I put sunscreen on every day and it's like a barrier sunscreen. So it has like zinc or something in it. And I think that reflects and also makes me look like a ghost.
Gives you an ethereal glow.
Ooh, I'm haunting you if you don't get your word count today. No, I would never haunt you. All right. Just give you a little encouragement. That's it. Heather's here. Hello, Heather. We are super, super glad to see you. Devin says it's a small detail you don't think about that gets me, something that's not important to you that still needs to be in your story. This is a whole new learning experience. Yes. Yes. Oh, is that true? Thank you. I'm so honored. Thank you very much. I'm so glad. Who wants to check? Oh, I can't. I was going to turn my thing. Let's see. Can we turn it? There it is. It's not particularly busy right now because I just finished a book, but it is about to be covered in Post-it notes again when I move to my next book project. It's good now because I'm like, it's almost empty. I've like taken all my stuff off of it. So cool. Yes, Avi, absolutely. Good morning. Good morning. The ghost of the missing word count. Yes, that's me. I love it. Heather says her novel's in third person limited DPOV. Love that. Read a book recently with a combo of first person and third person limited, Last Light by Julie Clark. I really enjoyed it. I would love to try that sometime as well. Cool. Love, 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 love. Mama Ward is here today. We are super happy to see you. Very, very nice. So, how has like February? This is our last day of February, and I have a lot of stuff I'm trying to get done today. We will see if that happens or not, but I'm trying and I make my very best effort to do that. Do you guys feel like you get more sort of amped up on the first or the last day of the month, or does it all just kind of flow into each other? I'm a little bit curious about that. So let us know in the chat, and let's go ahead and roll into our second sprint of the day today. Let me just share this screen. What did I do? I have lost the thing. Hold on, let's try and find that again. You know what happens? I think automatically after my timer, it goes to a like somebody else's like snowy scene timer. I think it does it every single week. And I'm curious because you wouldn't think that the people who love my beach timer and my tropical drum music steel drum music are going to be the same people that want to see the fireplace scene, but maybe they are. Who knows? All right, everybody. So we're going to come back and answer some questions after this next sprint, but let's get some writing done today. I am super, super on fire to write. All right, Here we go, everybody. Getting started with our next sprint in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. All right, we are back.
Yay!
So, yay! How did your school visit go?
It was really great. I, of course, had sound issues. Um, I logged in and I could see, like, they had the camera aimed. They were in an auditorium, and I could see two giant screens with my face on it.
Oh no!
Me. And I knew Zoom. Everything on Zoom was like, your mic is working. I could see the little green thing and blah blah. So I had to like frantically go into settings and figure out. My computer was doing something weird, but I fixed it.
Yay! Oh, that's good. I'm very glad.
After that, why does
Very-
it? You know how much often I use Zoom like 5 times a week,
Right.
and then one time it's like this massive.
Right. I know. Right. It always happens like that though, when you're like, you have a big thing and something, and it's something you use all the time. You're not like somebody coming on there who's like, oh, how do I get it to show my face? Like, that's not you. You use it all the time. I know.
It's so stupid.
I
Like,
know.
I'm not.
It's just to humble us so we don't torture old people when they're having a hard time with it.
That's
So-
exactly right.
Yeah. So our question over the last sprint came in from a reader last week, which is, do you have to, which was actually just perfect considering we were talking about writing in different POVs. And the question was, do you have to write in a specific POV with certain genres? So
like first person or third person.
yes, first person, third person, exactly. So who wants to jump in on this one?
Ooh, I like this one. Can I?
Yes, you can.
The short answer is no. You can write whatever POV you want in any genre, but the longer answer is that certain genres use certain POVs more often than others. One, for good reasons, and two, readers might be expecting that. So
Right.
just take that into account. And the same goes with like present and past tense. Like you'll find a lot of epic fantasies are third person past, and that's just because it reads more epic and classic sounding.
Mhm,
That said, there are
mhm.
tons of first person epic fantasies too, so you can do it. I would say thriller suspense novels are often first person present because it feels more unsettled, like the story is happening now and we're
Right.
in the mind of the person who is experiencing the suspense, which makes it more suspenseful. But you could of course try writing that in third person. So I would just, yes, there are expectations in certain genres. You can go against them, but I would have a good reason for doing so.
Yeah, know your strengths. I mean, part of the writer's job is to subvert expectation, but if you're going to do it in a clever way. Otherwise, people are going to be like, no.
True. Right. I think the most important thing there are two important things. One, which is the POV that best serves the story you're trying to tell, right? And then the other consideration is what Michelle just said, which is, are there certain genre expectations from readers for a certain POV? For a romantic comedy, which is what I primarily write, the expectation is first person POV. And certainly there are plenty of great rom-coms that are not written in first person POV, but there is like a certain, readers do expect that, and a lot of books are written that way. For me, that just happens to work out. If rom-coms were commonly third person POV or third person omniscient or something, I guess I would try to write that way to match. I would like experiment with writing that way to try to match reader expectations, but I could not.
I really want a specifically omniscient rom-com. That's intriguing.
Right?
That just sounds like a fun experiment.
Yeah, I know. It could be kind of fun. Love that. All right. So this is interesting. Mary says, somebody told my thriller author hubby that no true thriller can be in first person because you can't have that, oh no, don't open the door, suspenseful moment. That is totally wrong. I completely disagree. Like, I agree with Dave. I do not agree with someone. Because this is the reason why I actually love first person present tense, because you're right there with them. You know everything that's going in their head, and they're like, oh, it's fine. I'm sure the scratching is just a noise outside. No, it's a monster. Yeah. So I totally agree with that. Most readers don't even notice or have the language to discuss. Yes. Devin says mixing first person POV with third person POV limited may be a little easier on my, I'm not quite sure, to work with the first person POV. Are there any sites that could help understand it better? I'm more of a visual and hands-on person. You know what? I think Reedsy has a really good article, and I will try and track it down during the next sprint. If I can see if I can Reedsy POV. So I think Reedsy does have a good article about it. So we'll just pull that over.
And again, it's kind of knowing what's going to work best to fit what you're doing. Some people are mixing point of views because it's like a thing that people want to do now, to mix things up and just make it different before they're going where they haven't gone before, and they're making bold moves to do things that are just for the sake of making those moves and not for the sake of the story. And
right. Yeah. I think there's something to that. Also, we're all creatives, and it's in our nature to try different things and experiment and, stretch some boundaries. That's just who we are as people.
Yeah.
So
I would say I'm reading Ulysses right now. If you want to read an experimental novel with things that are just like crazy on the page, I was just talking to somebody not too long ago about laying things out on the page and comparing it to what I did in visual arts to to writing. And Ulysses is a great thing because it's almost like sometimes it seems like nonsense, but it's creative nonsense. And the way the pages are laid out from chapter to chapter and section to section, you'll really have an idea of how you could be experimental with text on a page. I think, force yourself to go through it. It's like 42 hours on Audible, but but I think it's time well spent.
But it's worth it. It's totally worth it. Alan, I love this. The more relevant POV examples I read, the more it's in my head, the easier it is to write in that POV. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So I'd ask the question, like, do you get motivated on the last day of the month? Because guess who did not know that this is leap year? Lisa didn't, but Lainey did, and so did everybody else in the chat. So thank you all so much. Let me just say, you've given me the greatest gift that I could possibly receive, and it's an extra day this week. That makes me so happy. I can't even tell you. Like, it makes me so, so, so happy. So thank you for all of you. And also, it was somebody's birthday, so congratulations to you, or to your niece. But that makes me so happy. You know what? I'm all like planner. But look, there's a 29 on my planner. But did I remember? No. I've been deep in book mode all week. You guys know what that's like. Who even knows? Is Mike even still here? Who knows? Like, it's just raw. Yeah. Anyway, very, very nice. Very nice. All right. I've got a chat that I put up and then I cannot find it. Where did it go? It's a banner. That's why. All right. Let's see if I can find our question number 3. Who's ready? I thought this was a really good question, and it is, do you ever feel hopeless about your author career? And I think that everybody feels that way. So if I can't get the thing to come up, I think everybody feels that way sometimes. So the answer is yes. Some days, and sometimes they're in the same week. Some days I'm like, I am the queen of the universe. I can do anything. And then there are other days like, no one will ever buy my books ever again unless they're my mother. And why am I wasting my time? I could have made more money if I stayed in advertising or what. That happens to everybody, I think.
Yeah. And so much is changing that it's kind of like, it can be scary. You're doing one thing, and then by the time you finish it, something else is happening and more changes are occurring. But you have to kind of cut through the nonsense and believe in what you do. And again, I think it comes down to what you do well and what you can do to stand out from other people in a way that makes your writing shine, because that's going to be the thing that sells a book no matter what the trend is.
True. Well, and that is the thing, like for me, I feel like that. Certainly there are days where I feel like that, but I feel like that less because than I used to, because I now feel like I have more control over my author career. And one of the things that made me feel that way, and I know you guys are going to laugh because I'm always harping on you about this, is my email list. And because I have that direct relationship with my readers. And when something new comes out, they all tell me they love it and or they're excited about it coming out. And I get that like feedback from the people who love my work the most, but also I know what they like, what they don't like, and a million other things. And it doesn't feel so isolating anymore, I guess is what so I do so I will say certainly there are days like where that happens. And I know it happens to every published author. I know it happens to every indie author at some point and probably at many points we've all been there. But but a new day is shining. The great thing is that you can always write another book. You can always work harder to build your, connect with and build your audience. Like there's always something you can do to get better, to get, to get your work out there more. There's always something you can do. What do you guys think about this?
Yeah, I think it's just everything is figure outable. I mean, there's other options for us, and it's not always going to maybe work out exactly the way we dreamed or hoped it would, but we can still find paths that work.
Yeah.
And might be better.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think technology, for everything that it changes, that it shuts down on the one hand, it opens up another opportunity on the other. And the big example from my career with comic book people, both writers and artists, is they become so dependent on an industry that's failing that they don't know what to do, and they're not looking over here at the other hand at what they could do, because we have all these same people that were making a ton of money for like Marvel and DC, and they're scattered and they're just hoping, or they don't have the gumption to relearn to do it on their own and not have that company do everything for them. You can be your own company. It may take a little bit of work, but the opportunity is there. If you don't want to learn, then then you're just doing it for fun.
And that's okay too. Some people do just do it for fun.
Yes.
But yeah, I think you can always sort of pivot or learn or adjust and some people don't like that feeling at all. And I guess I've been fortunate because I really do like to like learn new things. I'm sort of a problem solver at heart. But yeah, so the answer to the question is yes, we all feel that way at some times in our lives and careers. And, and you can work your way through it. Just keep going.
Yeah.
All right. We have time for another sprint, and I think we should take it.
Yes.
Let me get rid of our banner here. We're going to pop that timer up on the screen. Dun, da, da. All right, everybody. I think this is going to be our last one. So we're going to make it count. Here we go. Get your little fingers stretched and your little brain going. Here we go. It's getting started in 3, 2, 1. Make it count. All right. Fantastic. Oh, I've got crazy hair the whole time, guys.
No, it's not.
I know, right? I took off my thing to I don't remember. To shut my window. So
Mm.
I wouldn't look like a ghost anymore. And then I just look like a crazy lady with wild and insane hair. So there we go. Very, very nice. So, how did you guys do? How did everybody do on our last sprint?
I did well on both of these last sprints.
Very
Hey,
nice. Very
yeah.
nice. Me too. I'm like, I had planned to do things one way, and then I was like, oh, that's not going to work. I need to do it this other way, which is always like, oh, I can't tell you guys how happy I am to have an extra day in this month.
Yeah, yeah. That's
I
right.
have been like head down the whole month, and yeah. So I cannot believe I did not notice that until you all told me. So thank you. This is what happens when we spend too much time in our offices, right? Heather has been printing planner pages and doing client work. Heather, I'm curious, where are you getting your planner pages that you are printing? I feel like who told us earlier they were working on a planner? I think it was way up here.
It was early.
It was. It was. It was.
Uh,
Oh,
it was Ellen.
Ellen. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm just saying, maybe you guys should get together. Very, very nice. Very nice. All right. So we had a couple of other questions. Let me just get to. Let me make sure that we cover this. Did I not write them all down? Okay. So perhaps we do not have any more questions for today, and that's okay. Unless somebody has one in the chat that they want us to answer, we'll go ahead and skip. I thought I had put them all in ahead of time, and apparently I did not do that. So just the two. So that was it. I did have somebody ask me a really interesting question the other day, which I cannot remember. And while that's happening, Michelle, what was the most interesting question you got from the kids today?
Let's see. It was a lot of the typical, like, where do you get the idea for the book and things like that. I think the most fun one. So this was a school visit specifically for My Otter Half. They had all read it, and there were a lot of questions about otters. And I got to share all the fun facts I learned about otters. Like, they actually have pockets under their arms where they keep their favorite rock that they use as a tool to open up their seafood that they eat. And that the reason that they float on their backs with their feet up in the air is because they use their bellies as a table and spread out their seafood feast. Those are the best.
I love otters.
And another fun one I learned, there's a scene in the book where an otter juggles to distract some people while the dog is doing something. And they asked about the otter juggling, and this is actually something otters do. They juggle rocks, and scientists have noticed that they do it when they're hungry, and they think it's just the otter's way of expressing their excitement that they're about to eat. That's the thing. So
I love that. That is hilarious. I always love doing school visits, and I haven't done one for a couple years. Like, I haven't done one since the pandemic, actually. And I love school visits because there's always that one studious girl or boy in the front of the class who has already started on their first draft of something, and they have a lot of very specific questions for you.
Yeah. Yes.
And you're just like, you were me. And you like, no, you would just want, I always end up staying after, and I'm like, call me if you ever need anything, let me know, because I think it's so important for us to encourage kids to go into writing, and to, and to tell them what they need to do to write books. It is kind of shocking though. Like, I have had kids who like came back to me later and said, oh, I just published my first book, which is like, what? Like, kind of amazing, where you talk to them when they were in like fourth grade, and then now they're, trying to make a career that way. I just think that's spectacular. And there's so much more tech savvy and social media savvy than we are. So they're all going to be kicking our butts anytime soon. I love that.
I kind of want to loop this back to the first question about, do authors or any creatives get discouraged with their work? And a school visit idea reminds me of when I went to this school with a creative partner of mine who was actually becoming discouraged because his career he felt was going nowhere or had plateaued. And we got into this classroom, and this one student said he was there because of him, and he just went.
Oh,
Uh,
when
Or know who
when
your work is going to touch or what it's going to inspire in the world when you put it out there.
Oh, I love that. So my kids' school is a unique school in that it's a public school, but it's a gifted school, and it's second through 12th. And a few years ago, an author came to speak at the school, and he was a former student. And because it's such a long time that the kids are there, second through 12th grade, that's like 11 years. And because of that, you get to know the people in the community and the teachers and all of that. Like, it's a very close-knit community. And the author was Ransom Riggs, who wrote
Peregrine's Home for Children.
yeah, which was a huge book. Like, the
That's
funny thing is, he came to this school, to Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, which I guess had some he had a real interest in photographs and kind of shared that, like, these old weird photographs, which is kind of what gave him the idea for this. But he had also said that he had sort of infused some of his, like, Pineview experience into this this book. And the kids were, I mean, I don't know, he probably sold 1,000 books that day. They were so excited to see, like, one of their own who had done this big thing. And that book became really popular. And I think there was a movie and all that. But the other thing was that the teachers were all, like, super, super proud, because a lot of, all the teachers, not just the English teachers, had this kid, for all these years. And
yeah, I did a school visit at my middle school in 2019. And I went to middle school in 92, 93. So it had been a while. The school looked exactly the same. It was the teachers. It was really funny. The funniest moment was I was in band, of course, right? We all know this. My percussion instructor is still there. He still teaches there. He's still a director there. He is amazing. He has one of the best percussion programs in the country.
what?
And so some of the band directors, different band directors, but they came to the assembly and all. And I talked about how I went to school here and I was in band, and a couple of the kids that were sitting up near the front were like, "I'm in band," of course. And I told them I was a percussionist, and I saw one little boy be like, "I play drums too," and I was like, "So Mr. Wiley's your teacher, right?" And he goes, "Yeah," and I was like, "He was my teacher too," and the kid was like,
What?
hysterical. How fucking old is that guy? It was.
I love that. That is absolutely fantastic. Love, 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 love. That is amazing. And there's something fun about going and seeing kids who are, like, so excited about books. And that's another way, if you're feeling crappy about your author career, is to just go to, speak to a group of people who think that what you do is the coolest thing in the universe. So, so Heather, I'd asked her, like, where she got her planners, and she had said she's doing the HB90 stuff. I don't think I did know that you were an admin or streamer for Heart Breathing. So that is fantastic. I love Sarah. She's delightful. Very, very nice. I needed something. Very nice. I love that, to see the whole week in a single spread. Very nice. Dawdling Riders heading out now, and I think we are all going to be heading out as well. Yes, so he is from Sarasota, but yes, and his name is Ransom Riggs. Is not his, like, I can't remember which one of his names is not. I think Ransom is a nickname, but yeah, anyway, or a pen name. So anyway, all right. Well, before we go, let's say our goodbyes and do our little outro. I'm going to start with you, Michelle. Tell us a little about you and your awesome channel before we leave today.
I'm Michelle Schusterman. I write middle grade and young adult novels, and my channel is writing workshops, writing blogs, and traditional publishing chat.
Thank you so much for being here today. Robert Jones, as always, the story detective. Tell us a little about you before we all head out today.
Well, my channel is taking various forms of storytelling and putting it under that Sherlockian microscope to break down the craft for the viewer. I am looking at revamping the channel too. So, any ideas in balancing that, how to do writing and stuff for the reader? Let me know next time.
Yeah, that's a great thing. Like, what do you want to see that you're not seeing? Very nice. I'm Lisa Daly. I write contemporary romance and self-help, aka nonfiction advice. And on my channel, we talk about how to write a book you're super proud of and get it published. So you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. We will see you next week and have a great day.
Take care, everybody. Keep those keyboards blacking.
Yay.